Are we, as humans, tethered to technology? One might ask. Many of us might deny it, but our society is proving otherwise. Whether it's at home, at work, or in school, people are constantly upgrading to smartphones and communicating with others using technological devices. Schools are implementing the use of iPads and laptops. In fact, you are using some sort of technological device to watch this right now. However, the main question remains, does technology benefit or detriment our social life?
I think it's a little bit more of a complex question than that, but if I were going to choose one or the other, I would say it definitely benefits your social life. My group of friends are larger, I can stay in touch with a larger group of friends, but as a negative component to that, you also don't have as deep of a connection with a small group of people like you did in the past.
We have evolved technologically over the past decade. This evolution has made our lives easier in many different ways. We now use technology to talk to people overseas, to meet with people online whom we've never met before, to navigate to places, communicate with others in various ways, and to educate new generations. Thanks to technology, geographical separation is no longer a problem for our society, and the way we interact with people has changed dramatically.
Well, technology really, in general, is a benefit, I believe. When it comes to social life, what technology does, for example, in my industry, cell phones, it brings people closer, brings people together. People who aren't within the same region or same area. What I believe it also does is people who are close to you will not be as close because you're using a medium to communicate with people who are further with you. So you're spending most of your time on that device talking to someone else who's not next to you. So it's a mean of communication really, rather than someone to speak to. So I do believe it is a method that generally benefits, but in a social context, specifically in places where people are closer physically, I don't think it benefits that much because you're spending all your time talking to people who are outside your circle or your physical presence.
Technology facilitates everything and every aspect of our lives, and especially our social life. So that includes things like communicating on where to go or what to do through smartphones, through texting, through social media. It also affects companies where they can socialize through business aspects of things like business cards and networking and all that. So there's the side of the social aspect and there's the side of business social aspect, and both benefit from technology.
One of the drawbacks of that, however, is that the connections that you do have that are directly in front of you, you're not spending as much of that time directly interacting with people because you're spending so much time interacting with people that are on your social radar and not necessarily directly in front of you. So there's less face-to-face meetings, there's less dinners around the table, there's less just direct interaction, and that's a bit of a shame. I think whenever you gain something, you're always going to lose something else. So is it good or bad? I don't know. We'll have to find out to see.
use of technology, however, may take away from the traditional experience of the face-to-face encounters. Through texting, chatting, and the use of social media, we may have difficulties delivering our emotions. It is more difficult to express anger, joy, laughter, and sadness through technology than it is to express it face-to-face. For instance, capitalized letters in a text are a way of expressing anger. A jump on the emotional side of text came with the creation and use of smiley faces, or emojis, which is the Japanese created form of pictographs. They have a very wide range of icons and characters that recreate known facial expressions that can be sent to express emotions. Yet again, it's always the matter of personal perception, because even when a smile usually means happy, glad, or satisfied, sometimes it may be used as ignorance of an emotional state, or just a face that is too deceiving. People seem to make a lot of personal preferences in terms of what they choose to write, how they do it, and what forms of visual messages they send.
You lose a lot. Texting is, I'm not a huge fan of texting. I find it's great for just quick little messages. But there's a lot of context that's lost.
Before I got the cell phone, a lot of people would have to interact with me directly, so it was almost like a filtering process. So if someone really wanted to hang out with me, they would have to contact me through email or call me on the phone, schedule a time to meet. It would have to be a specific time. It would have to be done a few days in advance. Now people just text me and just say, "What's up? Let's hang out. I'm around the corner. Let's go do this. Let's go do that." So my day isn't as focused as it was before, but there are definitely a lot more interesting things that are coming up in terms of just exciting social events that I can go out to that I wouldn't have been able to do without social media and texting and cell phones.
With speaking on Facebook or texting, you get to hide your actual emotions, and it's easier to do that through technology than face-to-face. So you can't really know what the actual person is thinking or what he actually means if it's not face-to-face. So that's a major aspect of miscommunication and misunderstanding through technology, and that's why face-to-face is important that way. Other than that, when you get to go to the work environment, you get to be more interior because you're using a lot of social media and a lot of technology, and that doesn't give you the chance to actually know how to deal with people and do meetings and presentations face-to-face.
Our current generation is a mixture between two colliding tides, or two terms, digital natives and digital immigrants. A digital native is a person who has grown up with digital technology such as computers, internet, mobile phones, and other forms of devices. A digital immigrant, on the other hand, is a person who has learned how to use technology at a later age because he or she was not born to a technological world. Although beneficial, technology can cause digital natives isolation, distraction, stress, and many other social problems due to technology addiction.
I believe children who grow up with technology around them and most of the time spend with technology, as they grow up they might become socially awkward because they haven't had enough time to interact with people, with children, or to go through certain activities growing up as a child.
I'm gonna sound like a little bit like an old fogey, but I think they have. I love that they're using it, and I love that they're getting into it really quickly and young and learning it, because in the long run it's gonna benefit them. But I never had it when I was a kid, and I think I turned out decent, and I was still able to to pick it up later on. they'll definitely be more in tune. They have access to information that I didn't have access to when I was at that age, and if they're into like learning very quickly, I think that the next generation is going to be so much more tuned to just kind of how the world works as compared to my generation, because we just, like, if you really wanted to know something, you had to go look it up in like an encyclopedia. If you really wanted to know something other than kind of what you learn in school or what you see around you. Here's like nowadays, you don't, like, it's very, very easy for kids to just say, okay, I want to know, what is the latest capital of this such and such a country. Before, if your textbook wasn't updated, you would have to go and ask your teacher. Here it's like, I'll look it up, I'll Google it, and I'll know in 3 seconds. So I love that. I love the fact that that you can just pick up your phone and have information in front of you right away. Like if I was to get in an argument with somebody, 10, 15 years ago, and we go back and forth, like, oh no, like, this guy has the record for most goals scored in a game in the NHL, and then someone else would say, no, this many, and then, so the conversation would go on for about 20, 25 minutes, everyone would have their own say. Now it lasts about 25 seconds. You just Google it, that's over with, we can get back onto the two more important business. So overall, I think it's good that kids have this. They're gonna be smarter, or at least more. They're gonna have a better idea of how the world works, and probably have a better idea of how they want to contribute to the world at a much younger age. You're not gonna have, kids graduating and saying, I don't know what I want to do with my life. They're gonna have found their niche at a much younger age, and I think we're gonna end up with a really interesting next generation of kids.
They learn how to use technology before even how to speak. So I think that's a disadvantage, because that's the first thing they learn in life, and that also consumes their time, where kids at that age need to go out, need to improve their communication skills with other kids, but instead they're just using technology to get away from that. So that's a big disadvantage for children.
Social isolation is a problem that may be noticed amongst children. Video games and television can distract a child from doing schoolwork.
As time has progressed, technology has become much more important in our life. We rely on it heavily on our daily tasks, when you communicate, or when we try to travel somewhere, or any sort of activity we take. We need technology nowadays, especially in businesses. Technology is extremely vital. Now, for children growing up, I believe they should be taught manners when it comes to technology, what's right, what's not right. I think an important point that should be focused upon in school is bullying through technology. That is something that will deeply affect children growing up. That should be monitored. Also, teach them the etiquette of technology. Why not come up with a course called Etiquette of Technology to teach children? Not in university. try to introduce such courses and just speak about them openly. The problem I think with technology nowadays is everything they just release something, and for example here, the cell phones. We release something new and we talk about the features and specs that it has and why it's so good for you. But I believe we should emphasize upon the points that it could be negative, because technology could be, it's like a sword. It can be used for good or for bad. Now, it's extremely important to rely, I believe, on education when it comes to technology.
There are no national borders online. Everyone exists everywhere. So how do you deal with that?
We have become accustomed to technology. We developed a machine that maximizes our productivity and connects us to places we may have never visited. We love the comfort of it, and we accept the challenges it introduces. However, we need to provide guidance and direction to make youth or the digital natives understand the proper use of technology to be able to control it.